What is up, everybody? I'm Johnny Blacklight, and welcome to the channel. Here we talk about all kinds of weird stuff. Cryptids, UAPs, conspiracies, glitches in the Matrix itself, and more. Subscribe and stay a while. But yeah, man, today we're going to be looking into this blue avian entity, a bird-like humanoid entity, some interdimensional creature that reveals itself to people from time to time, apparently. So yeah, man, let's get into it.
The 5 alien species they don't want you to know about. Number 3, the blue avians. They're tall, radiant, covered in shimmering blue feathers. But their presence isn't physical, it's vibrational. Known as the blue avians, they are said to be beings of the 6th and even 9th dimensions, appearing only to those who are ready. They speak through symbols, dreams, and sudden awakenings. Some believe they're the protectors of humanity, guardians of a cosmic law we've long forgotten. Others say they warned us about technology, war, and spiritual decay. Governments call it fantasy, but ancient texts across Egypt and Mesoamerica speak of bird-headed gods. Were they here before? Are they still? What do you think? Do you believe in the blue avians? Did they really influence the Sumerian and Egyptian civilizations? Comment awaken if you believe the blue avians are trying to reach you.
It's pretty wild, man. Very interesting to me. I'm really interested in all this interdimensional beings and different levels of existence and consciousness and all that type of stuff. I do personally believe that there is some truth to a lot of this kind of stuff. Very interesting how we have these bird-headed entities in a lot of the old texts and stuff like that from ancient times. Very weird coincidence. And it's just so fun and interesting to theorize about these beings and stuff. It's like, are they watchers? What's going on in these other realms? What is their job? What is their duty to do? Are they helping us? And with the number of sightings we have these days, the veil seems to be thinning. So who knows, man? Let me know. Have you ever seen one of these things or anything like it? Let me know in the comments.
Hi, I'm Carrie with Apothecary, and I wanted to talk about the blue avians today because I actually had an experience with the blue avians. And a lot of people instantly are going to just keep scrolling or say that's stupid and make nasty comments. But this was before Corey Goodman, is that his name, and David Wilcock did all that stuff about the blue avians. I found that out after I'd had this vision, but if you've been following my videos, you know that I have clairvoyant visions. And so what I do is I close my eyes and I go into the field, the vision field, and the pineal begins to generate frequencies or tap into different realities. Let's just call it that. So I was viewing one day and I saw a tall blue bird-like being that was humanoid with arms and legs, but had bird features, like a crest on top of the head and a beak-like face. And people think, oh, you're psycho. That's it. You're psycho. Bye. That's fine. Goodbye. But I'm just sharing what I know and what I experience. So I saw this being. Later, I discovered it was a blue avian. So this being was so loving and connected with me through my heart center and showed me their world. It showed me a blue sphere, and then it showed me like a water world inside of this blue sphere. And it was crazy because it was just like this beautiful, clear water and beautiful trees. I mean, it was more like a crystalline world. I don't know how to explain it.
That sounds awesome. That sounds amazing.
But it was just such a beautiful experience, them showing me this through my heart center. Like, your heart has the biggest electromagnetic field of your body. So it is generating an electromagnetic field. And it does have its own mind. It is its own mind, aside from your brain and its functions. So you experience things by bypassing your left-right hemispheres thinking, right? That's the whole point of non-duality, mind, and going into your heart center. You're experiencing the universe without your ego and yourself trying to manage it. So that's what you have to do. You have to put your ego behind you so that you can experience the many mansions of the cosmos or infinity. And so that's what they were doing. They were connecting with me on that level and showing me who they were. Now, I don't know if other people have connected with them and what their experience was, but for me, it was a very loving, beautiful experience.
That's cool.
And I've never shared that before. I don't think I've ever shared that on the internet. But if you want to be able to tap into these kinds of experiences, you have to be quiet. You have to stop your duality mind, stop arguing with people, go in nature, get still and quiet, stop the back and forth thought processes. And when you get in that very relaxed state and you close your eyes, you'll see images immediately because you'll go into the infrared zone, is what I call it. It's all red. And then you go past that by, not trying to project onto that field, because that field is where you create. If you want to see an elephant, you'll see an elephant in that field. A lot of people say, I saw Jesus, because I had my eyes closed and I was praying and I saw Jesus. That's because you wanted to see Jesus. But see, Jesus, the man in the flesh, doesn't exist, because Jesus, even if you think Jesus is God, Jesus no longer exists in the flesh, right? Even if you think Jesus is returning in the flesh, that means he does not exist in the flesh. He can't return in the flesh if he exists in the flesh now, in this world. He's not in this world. He's not of this world or in it. He is beyond it, because the man who was here 2,000 years ago is gone. So now you're experiencing the Christ within you. That's how Christ returns in the flesh. That's a different story, but it ties into this, because you cannot see beyond the realm of your own creation, your own projection, unless you put your ego behind you and you silence your desires, your cravings to see what you want to see. You have to stop that. And then you can see beyond that to what actually just is. You're observing. You become the observer. That's called the path of self-mastery. The self is an illusion. The self is just a word that we use to describe your beingness, your body, your personality, your identity, but it's not real. What's real is your spirit and consciousness, and even that is illusion to an extent. When you get to a certain point, everything just is what it is. And this is really hard for people to get to that place. They're so locked into this 3D sort of experience that they can't get to that place of pure, infinite beingness. Now, people ask me if I do readings. I do not do readings. I am not trying to be psychic and predict the future or make predictions. If I do ever say something about what I think will happen in the future, it's just my opinion, and it might be based upon things that I've seen with my inner vision or not. It's just intuition. So I never claimed to be psychic or make predictions or to do readings. And also, when you have these visions, it doesn't mean you can control them. I can't always control what I'm seeing, and so it's not my imagination. When you're imagining something, you're trying to see things, and that's in the lower spectrum. That's the red zone, I call it, the infrared zone. You imagine something, you project onto that field, you see it. But then there are other frequencies above that, faster vibrating frequencies. And those frequencies, you're at least not consciously projecting onto that. It's like what they call spirit showing you something. And it's showing you something either for a reason or not, I don't know. But there are things that I've seen that I've wanted to be able to do something about, but I can't because I don't know where it is. Like when I saw the body being dropped in a place that looked like Greece or something. Now I think it was Malta, because I've seen images of Malta now, and I'm like, that looks exactly like where I saw the boat on the top of the water. I was in the water, and I saw a body coming down on the bottom of the ocean, of the water, whatever it was. Saw fish swimming around, and I saw the body drop, and then the body jolted and shook. It scared the crap out of me. So I look up, and there's a boat on the water, and it's like a rowboat, and it's rowing away. And I saw a figure on the boat, but I couldn't get up high enough to see it until it had gone around the corner of this massive rock, this cliff. And so then my spirit showed me, lifted me up. It's like the third eye. It's like a cursor, moving around, and as the cursor moves, which is the third eye or the vortex, it moves up, it moves all over the place. You can sometimes do it at will, but most of the time it's just doing what it wants to do. But it moved all the way up to the top of this cliff, and it showed me like puddles of water in the rocks and stuff, and then it just kind of sat on the rock, and I was just looking at this puddle on a rock. What? Like, I can't explain it. I don't know how the creator of the universe works, or the universe itself works. All I can do is tell you my experiences and try to help you to be able to try and do these things yourself. So, stay in love, calm your mind, be still, and stay lucid, my friends.
Very interesting stuff, man. I didn't expect this blue avian rabbit hole to lead to something like this, but definitely down for it, man. I love this kind of stuff. And I feel like what she was saying about ego in your heart and your brain, I feel like there's a lot to that, because I feel like there's something to this ego death thing, and there's something from like detachment of what you think is real. You know what I mean? And I feel like that has a lot to do with what we talk about with like the awakening and those kind of things. I mean, maybe these blue avians are some sort of protectors of this realm or something like that. I think a lot of this stuff is like unfathomable for human minds to understand. You know what I mean? When it comes to the dimensions and what these entities could be up to, or what their purpose could actually be. Same thing with the thinning of the veil and stuff. I don't know if we're really sure what's causing that, or if we understand what's causing it. But I feel like that's why we're seeing these things, and some people are able to tap into this kind of stuff. But yeah, man, very interesting about the Jesus stuff too. And the Christ consciousness is something I've been leaning into and looking more into, as far as like the returning of Christ being more of a inner self thing with us, with people, versus the possibility of like a physical return. And that's why I feel like there's a lot of corruption when it comes to like religions and certain ways of doing things. And I feel like it's all within, you know what I mean? Like the kingdom is within type of thing. And maybe these entities are a part of that somehow, a part of that realm somehow. Maybe there's some sort of angels. I think it's very interesting that she said her experience with seeing these things was very positive and felt like it was from the heart and felt just very beautiful and serene. That description of their world sounds amazing. Sounds like some Avatar shit or something. I don't know. That's cool. Because like so many times with these entities, it's very nefarious and scary. So it's pretty cool to hear about an experience like this. It just feels very like loving and touching and nice and good, positive.
So there's a little girl in Texas who's having legitimate contact with UAPs and things in the sky. Her mother emailed me about it. Her mother's name is Kirsten. And not only that, but like this has now been verified by the Mutual UFO Network, which is a nonprofit based in the US that is dedicated to the scientific investigation of UFO and UAP sightings. So like this is a legitimate contact case according to them. So this started back when the family was living in Utah, and she said that there was one night that they thought Seven was asleep. Her mother and her friend were down in the living room, and they heard Seven cry from her room. And so they go out there to investigate, and she said that she heard this like rhythmic like womp womp womp, like a heartbeat in the room. They walk in, and she said immediately when they stepped in the room, it felt like everything got sucked out, like even the feeling in her chest, like everything was just gone, and she felt like there was another presence in the room with them. She said that she expected to find Seven crying because they had heard her cry, but she was actually asleep in bed. The next morning when Seven wakes up, Kirsten goes to get her, and she has this perfect surgical, like already surgically healed scar on her arm in the perfect shape of a triangle. And she's like, where did you get that? And Seven says, oh, Omi gave it to me. And Omi is the name for her grandmother. And Kirsten's like, that's not possible. Omi is in Utah. And Seven's like, no, she took me last night and we went around flying in the sky and looking at the earth from above.
That's why.
So Kirsten's like, okay, weird, but doesn't put too much stock in it, besides the fact that Seven now has a perfectly triangular scar on her arm, right?
Weird.
But then Seven starts telling her more, and she calls them blue aliens at first, but then she evolves to say blue avians. And she's like, what's a blue avian? And Seven's like, oh, they're these like bird-like beings. They came from Mars originally. So Kirsten's like, what is going on? They came from Mars? And Seven's like, well, now they live in another universe entirely. So Kirsten gets concerned, and she goes to the daycare teacher, and she's like, are you guys teaching them about space? Like, what's going on? And the daycare teacher's like, no, we're teaching them colors and shapes. Which, like, I have a 2-year-old. Okay, my son does not know anything about aliens or the sky. He knows red, blue, green. Kirsten said at this point she was absolutely terrified because she had no frame of reference. Like, she did not believe in aliens in that point, and she didn't know what to do. So she went to her friend, who was like a lifelong contact and was also a practicing psychic. And she was like, do you know anything about this? And her friend's like, oh, it's nothing bad. Seven probably agreed to this before she came to Earth. Like, don't worry too much about it. At this point in the email, Kirsten also told me that their property in Utah backed up to the NSA facility. So there's that. Also at this point, things started getting bad kind of around the house. She was going through a divorce. Her husband unfortunately had an affair. She couldn't make ends meet, so she was going to move back to Texas to live with her mom, and she was going to take Seven with her. She said they packed up the car one day. It was her friend, and then Seven. About 2 hours into driving, they're just on the open road, just having a little chat. Seven's asleep in the back seat, and they see these two massive crafts hovering above their car.
It's wild.
Apparently then she just blacks out. And then when she comes to, they're further along in the drive than she remembers. She has no recollection of that period. There's like a big chunk of missing time. And when she comes to, her friend is like, you were literally talking about people that don't exist. She has no idea what was going on. So that's when they get to Texas, she contacts the Mutual UFO Network. And then they come and they talk to her and they talk to Seven, and they verify that this is a legitimate contact case. They are living in Texas now. She said this was not a one-time event. Seven still apparently has contact with these beings, and she's been interviewed by many UFO journalists and many UFOologists, including Ross Coulthart, Mary Wadwell, and Jim Garrison. So Seven has said this is only the beginning. She talks to them. She talks to their ships. She says they are here. They are watching. And she says that she still describes their language, their worlds, and their way of thinking in ways that she wouldn't even be able to think of. She said she's speaking up about this because she believes there's other parents out there who are experiencing this and don't know what to do about it. And she believes that all of these children are supposed to come together for some reason. She did say she has
Star
photos,
children,
videos,
man.
things like that to send me. I asked for her to send those, but I'm still waiting on that. So I will post that as soon as I hear anything. If you guys are into this kind of content, I post a new story almost every single day. Also, we just started a Discord. It's called the Spooky Scary Storytime 3 a.m. Club. There is a link in my bio to join that.
So much detail, man, what the little girl's talking about. That's so crazy. And the missing time part was wild. It's like, man, it's like a fucking episode of X-Files, man. Get Mulder and Scully on the case, dude. This is crazy. But yeah, man, them watching and them being among us, you know, it kind of leads into what we were talking about before. It's like, are they a part of the system? You know what I mean? Are they watchers? Are they working to keep things in line with the dimensions and the universe and everything that's going on with life and stuff like that? Are they angels? What's going on, man? I don't know. What do you think these things are? But yeah, I think that's going to do it for the video, man. I just wanted to jump on real quick. My mom actually told me about this entity, man. Pretty cool. She saw it on TikTok and was like, man, this would be really cool for your channel. So here we are. But let me know what you think, man. Do you know anything about these blue avians? Have you ever seen them before? What do you think they are? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, man, that's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm Johnny Blacklight. Subscribe for more. Y'all have a good one. And I'll see you next time.